What's going on, YouTube? I've been away for quite some time now, and I've just been really focused on work lately, trying to learn as much as I can. Just focus on growth, focus on growing wherever I'm at. I'm having a lot of fun with this new career path, this new career choice that I've made. It feels like I have this new passion, this new drive to want to get out of bed in the mornings, and for where I'm currently working right now, and I'm working at a grocery store. I'm working at a grocery store here in Canada, specifically in the meat department. And, I just find it so fascinating that I would have never thought in a million years that this is what was going to bring me joy, passion, and excitement into my life. I've spent so many years, a lot of time, trying to find, what it is that I want to do with my life, chasing after, always wanting better. And I think a lot of the blame, I hate to say it, is I'm gonna have to put it on my mom. Even though, I do understand that she's always just she wants the best for me, right? Moms want the best for you. But a lot of her thinking is very materialistic. And what I mean by that is her motives. They're always money driven. Whenever I'm interested in something, it's the question always has to be, well, how much money does it make? You should go back to school, become a doctor, become a nurse, become a lawyer. But what I'm starting to realize now, that whatever endeavor God has put in front of me, it's always been a success. But the problem is I end up quitting on it because in my mind it's just never, it's never enough. It's never enough for my mom. It's never enough for my family. And I tend to get inside my head about it. I tend to think about, well, what is my family gonna think about me? If I do this, or what are people gonna think of me? If I'm working at frickin' this place or that place. And it should not be like that. It should not be like that. And it's all, and what I'm also noticing, it's really all about putting the time in. It's really about putting in the time in wherever you are, whatever you're interested in, and getting the repetitions in until you become great at it. And that's when the money, the money just comes later. And I'm finding, just like college, okay? So in college, you get sent away for 4 or 5, even up to 10 years learning a specific subject that you're interested in. You become very knowledgeable about it, and that's what puts you ahead of everybody because you know more about that subject, that certain thing. And it's it's the same thing. It's all about time. It's all about experience. When you're in college, right? You're away from everything else. You're stuck in this place, and you're trying to stay focused on this one topic at hand, and you become good at it, and you become more knowledgeable than anybody else about that subject, and now you can charge people for what you know. And I just find like that's the same thing with everything else. It comes down to time, it comes down to experience, it comes down to repetitions. And I do remember, and a good example is I remember when I was a personal trainer, I didn't need a degree in it. I've been working out for 16 years, coaching myself through bodybuilding shows, exercises, losing body fat, gaining body fat. All of that, all it took was passion. It took time, it took repetitions, it took experience. And now I had this skill that people were interested in, or people wanted to learn about. And a lot of these people were professionals. A lot of these people were doctors, CEOs, lawyers, etc. I didn't have a degree, but I had passion about something that I loved doing, and I had a ton of experience doing it. And I was able to, make income off of that, right? And it felt like when you're in that situation, guys, where you found something that you love doing and you're just passionate about it, and I hate to say it, but you're just better at everybody. You're better than everybody at that because you've put in the repetitions, you put in the time, you've gained the experience. It does not feel like work. It was a joke, man. I felt like I was going into work when I was training people. It felt like I was like just chilling. There was no stress. There was no. The only stressful part about it was the sales part. Trying to gain clients, but that even came easy because I knew so much about it, and the people could sense the passion that was in my voice, and also I looked the part, and that's the thing. I just enjoyed it. It didn't feel like a day of work in my life, and I feel like that's the important thing. I think that's the most important thing, and the money came after, and I made great income doing it. I was able to get the things that I wanted or needed. Bought my first car out of the dealership. It wasn't a used car; it was from the dealership. So that was huge. But yeah. Anyways, I'm learning to let go. It's been a process. It's been a long process. It's not easy. I need to let go. I've been trying to let go of what people think, and that's the biggest thing. I'm noticing that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've been given this beautiful experience called life, and I just want to create. I want to enjoy it, and most of all, I just want to enjoy the ride that God's taken me on. And I truly think everything happens for a reason, and that the Lord has a plan. And what I find interesting about that is, I got to give you a little context here. Before I started working at the grocery store, I built this barbecue business, right? Where I sell smoked meats. It was like brisket, pulled pork, ribs, all kinds of stuff. And I started this business with an old buddy of mine from scratch. And we literally set this tent up at the park with my smoker and sold it off of these, just these picnic tables. And it was from scratch, guys, from the ground. We just watched it grow. Watching it grow was amazing. And it grew so big that it became so popular back in my hometown. I ended up booking tons of catering events. People wanted me at their events. I ended up opening up a food truck. And the only thing that stopped me, after 5 years of doing this, is I ended up getting a serious infection in my leg that took me out. And that's when I decided to take some time away from it. Because I was already sort of burnt out from it, to be honest with you. And there was a lot of stuff going on at the time as well, trying to run it with my dad, but him and I just weren't seeing eye to eye on some things, and I was staying at his house. It was just a stressful time. But now I'm back in Canada with my wife, and I'm at the grocery store, and this is, what I'm finding is interesting, and this is what I was trying to get to here. What I'm finding really interesting about this is I'm learning to do a lot of things that I wasn't really paying attention to when I was running the food truck. Things like inventory, ordering, merchandising, sales, reductions, customer service, flyers, all kinds of stuff that if I knew this kind of thing when I had my food truck back in the day, things would have ran so much smoother. So I find that quite interesting, and I guess we'll see where it goes. Like I said, I feel like God has a plan, and looking back, it may not seem like, in the moment, like right now in the moment, it's like, okay, what's going on here? But when you take a look back, you're like, I see, I think I see what's happening here. I'm not gonna say that I know, because I don't know, but it's very interesting. Um, so yeah. Anyways, what have I'm trying to think of some things that I'm trying to work on at work right now, though. I think the biggest thing would be time management. That's one thing I'm really, really tuned into right now because I just feel like there's never enough time to do everything that I need or want to get done. And I feel like we are a little understaffed for what we need to get done, in my opinion, but I'm trying to figure out how to manage it, and that's been the biggest struggle so far. Um, it's funny because it kind of was a struggle for me back when I was running the food truck as well, because I was just staying up like all night. You know, when you're running a smoker like that, you're up all night, and I was starting to figure out little tricks, little things that I could save myself some time, and that's when things, I end up getting the infection. But I what's cool is I'm learning a lot about time management right now. So, let's say a couple years later down the road or something, I end up opening up the food truck again. I feel like I've got that, I've developed a skill by then, to be better at time management and all those other things that I talked about before. So, yeah, all of it's interesting. All of it's interesting. But, anyways, that's all I got for today. Gotta go get ready for tomorrow. I got a big day tomorrow. Opening up the store, getting ready for next week's specials. And, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see. But till next time, guys, I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Please hit subscribe if you want to see some more videos, some more thoughts of mine. I'm new to this thing, but just figured it's a good little outlet. I feel like we're all kind of connected in some way. We all kind of think similar, so it's really interesting to see how connected we really are, and how we're much more similar than we think. We'll end it on that note. All right, guys. Till next time. Peace.